It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Reaction Beanie Yo 229. Day in that neighborhood. My brothers and sisters. Another Tuesday, another time to get into the latest video from this man right here. Hope y'all doing excellent day out there today as always. And y'all know the man who I'm talking about. Y'all know who he is. Y'all know who we be. Mike from that chapter. Going back to Mike, y'all. The title of the video, faking a killer intruder to hide the lies. Heidi Ferkus case. Now this sounds like another one of them videos where it's gonna be a motherfucker trying to act like some crazy shit that happened, knowing the whole damn time that they the ones who actually did the crazy shit. But they gonna try to play it off. And most of these damn videos that we watch like this, y'all, the person we trying to play off and make it seem like an intruder came and did the shit or whatever, this shit be so unbelievable. Like, bro, my damn dog wouldn't believe your story. You know what I'm saying? It always be just out of this world. Like, who the fuck would believe you? I digress. We finna get into it, man. I'm hyped, man. We're going back to that chapter. But before we get into it, my brothers and sisters, you know you got to get whatever you might need. Get what you need. We back to Mike on a good Tuesday. Y'all got what y'all need? Y'all ready to go? Then let's fucking go.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this solo video, we are going to the city of St. Paul, Minnesota, to look at a story, my friends, that is like equally as bizarre as it is baffling. This is the story of the Ferkuses, of secrets, of lies, of betrayal, and of a mysterious intruder who may or may not have existed, and then at the end of it you got one of those big old, whoops, wink wink. This is the story of a person without a plan, but they called a lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage. It's got a lot of twists and a lot of turns, so you know what that means. Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go. And get whatever you may need.
So St. Paul is where we are going in this old one. That is the capital of Minnesota, and it makes up half of the Twin Cities along with its sibling Minneapolis. It's home to over 300,000 people and is considered overall to be a generally safe city. Safer than its twin, except those winters. I wouldn't be putting up with that now myself. Though people posting on niche.com would probably disagree with what I just said, with one person stating I'm here for schooling and it's noisy with constant shootings. And also potholes kind of get mentioned again and again and again. So the takeaways from that are obvious. Guys, stop shooting the roads! So this old one takes us to the year 2010, back in the day, to a house that was like right smack dab in the middle between Minneapolis and St. Paul. You're really asking yourself, are you coming or are you going? And it was on West Minnehaha Avenue. Don't let the name mislead you, there's not a lot of ha-has in this story, folks. There, on a street that's about as American looking as it gets, lived the Ferkuses. That was Nick and his wife, Heidi. In the April of 2010, Nick, 27 years old at the time, and Heidi, 25, were happily living in a house in St. Paul. They bought their first home in 2007 in this nice, quiet neighborhood, having been married for a little over 4 years. They met where else but church, you know, having a bit of an out pray, they locked eyes. Nick, he worked in upholsterying. Your dog pisses on the carpet, he'll fix it for you. It was the family business. While Heidi, she worked for Securian, a financial services company. No kids yet, but they were young and the little ones were probably on the way. So you got your regular happy-ass couple. Nice neighbors by all accounts. They went to church, they paid their bills, they lived a simple life. Sure, Why wouldn't you? So, with that being the kind of people they were, the events of a Sunday in April 2010 were made all the more shocking.
Oh shit. Here we
Early
go.
that morning, just before Nick and Heidi would have been getting up out of bed that spring day to go to church, well, a very different series of events would transpire. And it started out with 2 911 calls made at 6:31 a.m. Now, the 2 calls were made, but both, they hung up as soon as the operator picked up. Then, less than 30 seconds later, a third call was made from Heidi's phone to the 911 operator. And she said, over the phone, someone was trying to break into their house.
State Patrol 911.
Someone's trying to break into my house.
What city are you in, St. Paul?
I'm in St. Paul.
Hang on just a second.
The call didn't last long and Heidi sounded very, very scared. She was breathing
On time out, y'all. I know I ain't the only one out here that thought. I'm thinking that it's the dude who killed the damn girl, the lady, his wife, his girlfriend, whatever they was at the time. But she the one who making a 911 call. So did she kill him? Or he staging this shit till she actually think that it's somebody trying to break in when it's really his ass doing it? Pretty interesting. Let's see.
heavily, and she just gave her address on Minnehaha Ave when there was a bang and a scream.
Minnehaha Avenue.
Minnehaha, someone's trying west. Somebody's trying to break in her house.
Okay, what phone number are you calling from?
Well, I don't know where she went there. 651-49.
911 tried to call her back twice, but the calls went straight to voicemail. Officers were already on their way at that point, but then another 911 call came in about a minute later. It was Heidi's phone, once again, but this time it was Nick on the line. He said someone had broken into their house and both him and Heidi were shot. Nick sounds completely hysterical.
Please, somebody just broke in the house. You shot me.
Okay, are you in St. Paul, sir?
What's the problem?
When I was shot, somebody broke into the house. I've been shot.
You've been shot?
Yes, please.
Okay, stay on the phone with me, okay?
Okay.
What's your name? What's
No.
Nick?
No.
Nick?
Yes.
Stay on the phone with me. Who shot you?
I don't know somebody broke into that house. No.
Okay, stay on the phone with me, okay? Do not hang up. Nick, listen to me. I've got help coming. I need you to take a deep breath. Is the person that shot you still there?
No, yeah.
Okay, take a deep breath and listen to me. What race was he?
I don't know.
Okay, do you remember what he was wearing? Do you remember what he was wearing?
No, like a hooded sweatshirt.
A hooded sweatshirt?
I don't know. Please.
Okay.
My wife she's dead. I need somebody here now. Right, we're
Your
getting
wife?
help out there right now. Go ahead.
Well, you said your wife is shot also?
Yeah, she's not moving. She's not breathing. Oh, please.
Officers are there, okay?
No.
The police
Now, Nick did a good, he possibly could have had an acting career ahead of him. Because he did a good job of sounding convincing, but it's plot holes in that whole conversation. Or it's certain red flags. The first red flag is, once the lady asks what race you think he is, I don't know. There's a slim possibility that you don't know what race the dude was. Unless he came in there just all the way covered up. I'm talking about face. I'm talking about the mask. Well, all this shit ain't showing. Ain't nothing but eyes showing. Unless he goddamn had on gloves, long sleeves, all that shit. You gonna know what race he was. Even if you don't know if he black or you might just think he Hispanic. You come on, man. That's the first part of the shit, that first red flag. And the second red flag was that the whole time they trying to ask him, they asked him that question. Then she asked him the next question. What was he wearing? I don't know. I think a hoodie. And then they trying to get a description of the person who did this shit, but he's saying he don't know, and then he start hollering, ow, ow, because he don't want to answer the questions. Why he ain't trying to answer them questions? Because he ain't came up with his story yet. Y'all see what I'm saying, man? That's why he started saying, ow, ow, when the lady was trying to see what the person looked like, trying to act like he's so damn hurt, because he ain't had came up with this part of the story yet. But let's go.
Police arrived while Nick was sobbing on that call. At the house, the front door was slightly ajar, and entering the home, calling out, they could smell gunpowder in the air. As they walked in, they found Heidi lying on her back in the kitchen, her feet pointed towards the door. She had blood in her hair and on her face. She was already gone. Nick was beside, sobbing uncontrollably. He had been shot in the leg, and on the ground nearby was a shotgun, Nick's shotgun. The door, the bottom of it was covered in pellets from a shotgun round. Nick was taken to the emergency room. Nick said that while they were waking up early that morning, one, possibly two, people broke into their home. It was an apparent burglary. Nick, he woke up, he heard noises coming from the front door, down the stairs. He went, he got the shotgun out, lock and load, and then him and his wife, Heidi, they tried to escape the house, which, you know, was the right thing to do. Just get out of there. They were going down the stairs, and they were trying to make it out to their garage where their car was, so they could flee the home. When, as they were walking, Nick, he got jumped by an intruder. They wrestled over the gun. This guy was able to overpower Nick, reef the shotgun off him. Heidi was shot. Nick was shot. Nick wasn't able to give much of a description of the person who shot him, and he didn't see the other, if there even was another person. The front door had tool marks on it from someone breaking in or attempting to break into their home, and Nick was treated in hospital. It was a minor wound though, a mere flesh wound, and he was released after just a few hours. In the meantime though, the police were of course, canvassing the neighborhood to see if anybody had seen anything, anybody had heard anything early that morning when two shots rang out, and one woman was murdered in her own home.
If you just want to come in here and grab a seat, I don't know which one you want. What?
Some more red flags. Number one, that little weak ass little gunshot graze to your knee area, thigh, whatever it was. Bro, that don't make no sense. And on top of that, why in the hell they just shot you in the leg, but they fatally killed your wife? Why they shot her in the face or the head? She got blood in her hair and, you know what I'm saying, her face and shit, but you got blood on your leg. Just a little dribble. And the other thing is, it's just so damn, I ain't saying this shit don't happen, but damn near 9 times out of 10, man, if somebody gonna come break up in a house and they gonna shoot and kill one person, they not gonna leave nobody alive. They not gonna leave a witness alive, bro. They would have killed you too. But let's see what the hell he got to say in this interrogation.
The low one or the high one? Or...
We'll go to that one.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You want anything to drink or anything? Or...
I think he's working on that. Just a bit of water for me.
All right.
Just, oh, there you go. Just put them right here, okay? Yeah.
Keep in mind, y'all, he should have his story together now. He should have been laying up in that hospital bed thinking of what the hell kind of bullshit he gonna say. So let's listen to the bullshit.
You give me any pain meds?
Not yet.
Okay. Nick, I'm Sergeant Ray. The other gentleman was Sergeant Wright.
Okay.
Well, both
You said it was gray.
gray, like the color. And then Sergeant Wright, W-R. Yeah, right and wrong, yeah.
Nick was then taken to the police station and was able to give a more thorough account of the events that morning, the events that led to his young wife's death. The night before, they'd chilled out at home, they'd watched a flick, Avatar, had a glass of wine. Nothing happened, really, the night before. Then, Nick woke up at about 6 a.m., which was normally when he got up for work, so he was used to, that was his biological alarm clock. He got up, he was a bit thirsty, he got a glass of water, he went back to bed. As he was starting to drift off to sleep, once again he heard the door rattling.
You're sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happens next then?
Well, because I get up for work about 6 every morning,
Yeah.
I kind of got up, but we didn't need to be up until about 9 to go to church. So I got up and went and got a glass of water from the bathroom.
Okay, so you woke up at what time?
About 6 a.m. go back to sleep, but just kind of fitfully sleep for 10 or 15 minutes, and then I heard the screen door open.
And like, what are they doing? Are they just going like this?
Yeah,
Kind of like that?
yeah, just shaking the knob and
Okay.
shutting the door.
Alright.
So what I did is I grabbed my shotgun out of the closet,
Okay.
and then I wake up Heidi.
Okay.
I said, Heidi, somebody's fiddling with our knob and trying to get into our house. Let's get your shoes on and let's go out to the garage. Let's get out of here. And so I said, call 911, and then let's head to the garage.
Okay. Alright, so she called 911 then?
She called 911.
Okay.
That's right.
He got up, he got the gun, he woke Heidi, they started making their way downstairs. Heidi called in the police when, just at the front door, the guy broke in, wrestled with Nick. And as him and this guy were struggling, the gun went off, hitting Heidi in the back as she was trying to run away.
So you guys come down the stairs, because the stairs are...
Stairs over here.
You come down this way.
You turn left.
Yep.
She swipes her wallet off the console table.
So like the console table's right here.
Perfect, yeah.
She grabs that.
And then beelines it to the... As soon as she grabs it,
Yep.
the door opens.
Okay.
And so I have a gun in my left.
Yep.
And so I try to shut the door shut, but it gets forced open. And the guy that was there, I think he saw it.
Yeah.
I think he grabbed the barrel. And
Like down towards the trigger? Or...
more towards the top.
Yeah. What did this guy look like? Is he a white guy, black guy, Asian guy?
I think he was a black guy with a dark hooded sweatshirt that was drawn. If I remember right, it was drawn up pretty tight.
Yeah.
But I did not get a good look because I was looking for Heidi
Yeah.
and trying to wrestle the gun away so we could bail.
Alright.
I don't remember exactly what happened, but the gun went off. So my fingers slipped onto the trigger.
You and I are like this.
Yeah.
And then the gun goes off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it goes off down?
Yeah, I mean, I know it hit Heidi. I know it did.
Okay.
I know it did. I don't know where it hit her, but I know it
Did
hit
it hit her in the chest, the back?
She was running away, so he definitely hit her in the back.
It hit her in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. The back, her back or the back of her head?
I don't know. It wasn't low. I don't think it was a high shot, but it was.
Take your time, it's okay. Did she yell or anything?
Yeah.
This dude just admitted to accidentally shooting his wife. That came from out of nowhere.
And she went straight down.
Okay, did she fall face first or?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So you and this guy are still standing in the foyer?
Yep.
Okay.
I grabbed on my right and pulled.
Okay.
Like that, and that's when it went off the second time and hit me in the leg.
So you shoot yourself then, or is this?
I don't know if it was me, myself, or if it was the guy. I honestly don't remember at that time.
After you get shot, what happens next then?
He's gone.
He takes off up there?
I fall down. He's gone.
Alright, now are you bleeding a lot, or?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I don't know. I know I fell. I got to Heidi and I started I had to redial 911 and just started.
Just you grabbed her phone?
Yeah, and I just started freaking out.
A neighbor did hear some gunshots that morning, didn't see anyone out there looking at the window, and dogs were brought in, but they didn't find any scent of who this intruder could be.
But you haven't had any problems though with other
Nope.
break-ins, burglaries, nothing like that?
Nope, nothing that I can confirm or anything.
There wasn't really much evidence though to go off. I mean, the way Nick was telling the story, the intruder barely got into the house. They barely got through the porch before they encountered Nick, they jumped him, then they booked it. And of course, the usual questions were asked. Nick was questioned, was this, gotta ask, inside job or anything? Shoot my shot.
You guys have any problems or anything like that?
Just the normal stuff, like, stresses about finances and quality time.
Every guy's got needs and urges, concerns, however you want to put it. Are you stepping out at all by chance?
To other women?
Yeah.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
All right. Nick, part of me wants to ask you this question. Did you have anything to do with this?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Why is there a party that wants to ask that?
Well, Nick, I'm a police officer, okay?
Yeah.
I gotta ask tough questions, all right? And that's it's a tough question I gotta ask. There's no easy way to do it.
He said he loved Heidi. There weren't any side pieces, And there was no history of violence. I mean, as I said at the top, they were nice, lovely young couple. They were both heavily involved in the church, they both ran their own youth groups. If there was anything, it was that they were maybe just a little bit behind their bills, just like a tiny bit. That's it, really. Well, by a little, I mean like a lot. Literally the very next day after this incident, on the 26th of April, they were about to be evicted from that house.
You guys aren't behind in the bills or anything?
We are behind in the bills, which is a little stressful. In fact, we were planning on moving tomorrow.
Moving where?
Well, we hadn't figured that out yet. We were, and this is a hard place for us. We foreclosed on our house.
Okay.
We have to be out by Monday.
Okay, so now I'm starting to think that this gonna be another one of Mike classic videos, y'all. Well, this shit gonna come down to this man wanted that insurance fund. This lady probably had out a couple of $100,000 worth of dollars on her insurance fund, and he killed her to get the money. That's what I'm leaning towards now. But the thing that still stuck in my brain is this man actually admitted to accidentally shooting his wife. And he admitted that he possibly is shot himself when he was fighting the damn intruder for the gun and shit. So he basically admitted that both of the shots came from him. Now, do he realize that even though you accidentally shot your wife, that you still more than likely gonna go to prison for that shit, bruh? Did you think about that part? Even though he fucking lied, I feel like he made up this whole intruder shit, man. I just feel like he made this whole, there wasn't no intruder, it was just him and his wife. The damn dog came over there and ain't smelled nobody else scent. It just ain't adding up. And I will say real quick, if it do add up to it was the intruder, he was in on it. He hired the intruder. He knew what the fuck was going on. Let's see.
Tomorrow.
They had purchased that house back in 2007 for $215,000 with 2 mortgages. The last time they made a payment on either of those 2 mortgages was in September 2008, a year and a half before April 2010. Nick had been served with foreclosure documents 1 year before, and in June 2009, the house was sold at auction. So they were being evicted from this house. And in fact, they were supposed to have been evicted earlier in April, but Nick, he contacted the law firm that was essentially, saying that his grandmother, she was in the hospice, she was dying, and so the eviction then was delayed until April 26th, the day after Heidi was killed. Now, that was a lie. Neither of his grandmothers were in the hospice at the time, and in fact, both lived through 2010, So as I said earlier, they went to church, they paid their bills, they lived a simple life. Only one of those things was true. They also owed a fair bit of money to the bank, about 20 grand.
So you and her never mentioned this to either set of parents?
None of our parents or none of our friends.
No one knows about this except you and I?
And Heidi.
And Heidi.
That's right.
Okay.
But there was no indication Heidi was aware of any of this, of their house being foreclosed and then them being evicted, of the debts they had, that their mortgage hadn't been paid in like almost 2 years. Heidi had no indication of this at all. In fact, she was telling friends that, oh yeah, we're thinking of moving, we're going to sell the house and probably move somewhere else. Heidi having no clue they had no house to sell. In fact, she was contacting Nick and said, hey, we should probably go see the realtor soon, right? Sell the house. Nick was like, oh yeah, we will, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do that soon, alright, yeah. All information about the debts, the creditors, the everything, it was all in Nick's name. Heidi never signed a goddamn thing. Everything went to Nick, and he was keeping that pretty close to his chest. And all of this was evident to the police when they arrived that day, that Heidi was completely unaware of what was really going on. The house was not packed up at all when they were due to be moving out to be kicked out, getting fucked out of the house the very following day.
I've moved out of houses before, and I've helped friends move out of houses before too, Nick. It just seems like you're kind of, putting yourself against the clock. I mean, if you knew this train was coming, you kind of get ready for it.
Yeah, I think a part of it is just, for us, a significant part of it is the shame of the whole thing.
Didn't seem like Nick was going to be going along with this eviction. But luckily, unluckily, there was a tragic incident, and, that kind of went away. At least for the time being. Nick was released by the police, and Heidi was laid to rest. After which a sketch was done of who this attacker was. So police were a little bit curious about old Nickerino and his story. Well, for a start, nobody saw anybody out in the house early, running around the neighborhood early that morning. The dogs didn't trace anything. And money troubles can often lead to bang bang. But also in this case, Nick said he heard jiggling from the door, and that was what startled him and led him to believe that somebody was about to enter the home. Must have been very loud though, and the police wanted to see if that was even remotely possible to have heard what he said woke him up.
6:16 in the morning, April 27th, 2010. All right, I'm at the front door, so let me know when you guys are ready. I'll try to knock for 15 seconds then. Okay, here we go.
We're in the bedroom looking at the hallway.
What time is it again?
It's 6:16 a.m.
6:16 a.m. We are ready.
Nothing.
All right.
Damn
But
to nothing.
over time, the hunt for this guy remained and went nowhere. The case, it went cold. Like straight out of the oven into the freezer cold. Every year, the sketch would be on the news, and time passed.
A St. Paul family spent the last 4 years praying police would find their daughter's killer. Now they're asking the public for help. 25-year-old Heidi Furcus was a youth group leader who met her high school sweetheart and eventual husband in church. Police now want to talk to her husband again, but they say the husband doesn't want to talk to them.
4 years ago, someone killed 25-year-old Heidi Furcus. Her family and police are still trying to figure out who. There was more to the story. According to a search warrant, the Furcuses were in financial trouble. It says Heidi didn't know they were being evicted from their house the next day. Then later in 2010, according to police, Nick Furcus told them to stop calling.
I would say that's a little bit more abnormal than what we typically deal with.
Now the
Hell yeah, that's abnormal. And I just gotta say this too, man. Why it amazes me how the government, the police, whatever the fucking word is, let certain people just get off so freely. Like, come on, man. It's enough red flags where y'all either should have delved harder into the case or tried to convict them. Like, seriously, man. At least take it to trial. Charge him with that murder. Y'all let the shit turn to a cold case, man. And y'all had all that evidence. It amazes me how sometimes these criminals get away with murder like that. And this dude's still throwing up red flags. Tell the police, tell the damn police, I don't want to talk to y'all. Don't talk to me. What? Let's go. I'm getting a little frustrated now.
The case is cold. Police say they need a break, and the break could come from another conversation with Nick Furcus.
And we know there's someone out there, at least one person, if not more, that knows exactly what happened.
We hope to talk to Furcus, too. We didn't have any luck with 2 different addresses or a phone number we found listed for him. So far, he hasn't replied to a Facebook message we sent him either. Police are not calling Furcus a suspect, but they are saying they want to talk to him or to anyone else. Who knows what happened?
Crazy.
Nick, he met someone else. He remarried. He met Rachel Watson, and in August of 2012, they married. They had been together for only a year, and they were head over heels with each other. Nick, coming out of surviving an unimaginable tragedy. Rachel herself, she had been married before, but it had been an abusive relationship, and so they met and they could heal together. Very cute. Nick and Rachel, they would have 3 children together, and they would move into a house that Nick's parents bought for them. Nice. Can I get into that? So they lived there. I mean, okay, yeah, they were paying the mortgage back to Nick's parents. Nick couldn't exactly get a house himself. His credit wasn't too kind of, kosher, but Nick would pay, the property taxes and everything himself. And Nick, he still had his job. I mean, the job he worked for, that upholstery cleaning company, it was a family company. He eventually would pay back everything he owed. And so things were good. Tragedy had struck poor Nick Furcus. Things were bad, but it seemed like things were, the sun was shining on him once more, and he could be happy after, the trauma. And then Rachel started finding letters. Letters like they hadn't been paying their property tax at all, and that their house was going to soon be foreclosed. Sound familiar?
Sound very familiar, and I'm glad that she found them letters, because she didn't. Nick probably gonna do the same damn thing to her. Eventually kill her so she'll never find out. Crazy.
The fact was that Rachel now knew Nick was lying, and things started mounting. She knew he was lying about small things. She would find receipts, items around the place, and Nick would lie, saying, "Oh no, I didn't buy that," you know, and so she began thinking, well, if you've lied about small things that you have no reason to lie about, what else have you lied about? Have you lied about the big things too? That's when Rachel began to think. Because, I mean, the whole thing about, you know, Nick and Heidi being behind on their bills, that was even in the papers at the time when Heidi was killed. So Rachel, seeing this sounds very familiar, she took the kids with her. She left Nick. Now, new investigators, they took over the case, and they thought it odd, maybe worth re-examining. For example, if there was an intruder breaking in that day and Nick had a fully loaded shotgun, hunting shotgun, he tells a story that Heidi went down the stairs first.
So you going first down the stairs, or is she behind you, or is she in front of you, or what?
She's in front because I'm kind of trying to move her along quickly.
Yeah.
And then I'm right behind her.
Yeah.
Why would she go? Is this like Operation Human Shield? In the 911 call, apparently Nick and this intruder were struggling over the gun literally right behind Heidi. When in the background, you can hear nothing. In fact, Heidi doesn't sound like... She sounds scared. She doesn't sound like, oh, my husband and some strange guy are fighting 2 steps behind me.
Minnehaha, everything. Minnehaha, someone's trying west. Somebody's trying to break in her house.
She just sounded terrified but not horrified, if that makes sense. The FBI, they did a digital analysis of the scene. Nick said that when he was struggling with this guy, the gun went off at chest height, hitting his wife. But from the angle of Heidi where she was shot, it must have been like at shoulder height, as in someone was aiming the gun at her. Maybe somebody who would have been following Heidi. Oh yeah, I'll be right behind you, I'm following you out right now. And then, I mean, you've got a guy whose literal job, who's specialized in cleaning up. He might be, you know, pretty good at, you know, an old crime scenerino, getting rid of that. The lies that Nick told Rachel were something that, like, she too, and this is completely separate to the ongoing investigation, that she too began to think about Heidi, about what really happened to Heidi. She wanted to know if there was any maybe fibs he had told about his dead wife. She confronted him about it. She recorded the conversation.
I could get through this if it was just the lying. I really could. The problem is the Heidi stuff. That's my problem. The problem is I don't 100% believe you. I know it's shocking for you to hear that from me, and it's shocking. Trust me, it's shocking for me to think it.
I don't know what to say. So I didn't actually understand what you were saying. The fact that you're saying it is so indescribably jarring to my soul that I can hardly read. I don't know words, Rach. It is too traumatic, and I don't know what else to tell you.
The fact that you're lying was so easy for you to do in front of me over and over and over makes me think
That I could burn
that you could lie about something.
that I could burn my life.
Yes.
There are 100 things going through my mind right now.
Are you wanting to say more?
I'm probably, you know, we open this conversation, I just can't do it.
You notice that he didn't deny it.
Rachel and Nick would divorce in the year 2018. Nick loved to live on big-ass shoes, fancy dinners, trips, buying this and that and these. You know, anytime there was money in his pocket, well, money was burning a hole in his pocket, so he would immediately spend it, not pay his bills, borrow more. Heidi, she left all the money shit to Nick. She didn't know. Rachel, the exact same. She left all the money stuff to Nick, but she soon found out. It's kind of amazing that there's actually no life insurance, though, in this. When I was researching into it, I was a little bit disappointed. Neither of them had life insurance on them. It's kind of like missed opportunity.
Like any...
Yeah, I thought life insurance was gonna be involved, and that make this even more shocking that ain't the reason that he killed him. Well, killed her.
Most people in today's society, you guys got insurance policies on each other?
Life insurance policies? No, we don't.
In May 2021, Nick Firkus was arrested. Prosecutors said Nick killed Heidi simply because she was about to find out they were completely broke and they were going to be evicted. Nick lied to everybody, and he feared that if it all came out, that he would be abandoned by everybody, by Heidi, by his family, by his friends, his reputation of this good, old, you know, nice guy, good neighbor, goes to church, helps out with the kids, somebody people can look up to, that reputation would be gone. So they said, killed his wife. Yeah.
Prosecutors say Nicholas Furcus shot his wife and made up a story about an intruder. His attorneys insist the intruder was real.
Prosecutors told the jury that Nicholas Furcus acted out of shame and fear. They say the home he and his wife Heidi shared was foreclosed and that they were set to be evicted, but that he never informed Heidi. They say Nicholas staged a burglary, killed her, and shot himself in the leg. Defense attorneys said Nicholas first heard a noise, grabbed his shotgun, then woke up Heidi. They say the intruder shot Heidi dead before shooting Nicholas. And they insist Heidi was aware of the couple's financial hardships.
In January 2023, he went on trial. His defense stuck with his story of an intruder. Someone broke in 13 years before and Heidi was killed. The prosecution said he killed his wife to protect his reputation. There were no signs of an intruder in the house at all that day. Even the marks on the door, that wouldn't have been enough to break in. He said they fought beside the table at the door, but it all looked neat as shit. At the end of a 2-week trial, the jury found Nicholas Furcus guilty of the murder of Heidi Furcus. Nick was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Good.
For all of us, it is impossible that Nick could ever have done what he is accused of doing. We believe him, and we believe in his innocence.
Furcus himself insisted he didn't do it.
While I understand the jury's verdict and the sentence you must give, I do maintain and will maintain to my dying breath my innocence of this crime.
And that was Nick's plan, concocting this entire plot, brutally murdering the young wife he loved, shooting her in the back as she tried to run. I mean, you can hear her on the phone. She sounds terrified. The brutal, like, and for what? For what? How can you go and do something like that? I mean, I know he did it, the prosecutors say, and, you know, because he just loved to spend money, and he feared his reputation. That could, you can get help for that. You can get help if you're, like, addicted to spending money. You don't have to, you know, you can financially recover from it. You don't have to end somebody's life, and then, then he ended his own life. 13 years later, that's what he did, because now he was sentenced life without parole. He was spending the rest of his life staring at grey bars in a jumpsuit till his body gives out. He said he will appeal, but who knows if these will ever go anywhere. Who knows why people do what they do. Everybody looks out their own window. For Nick, though, those windows have goddamn bars on them. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being...
He ain't lying, Mike. His fucking windows got bars on them. God damn, man. At the end of this one, man, just made me so frustrated, man. And I'm frustrated now at just Nick. Like, this dude just, what the fuck, bro? That's why you killed her? Because she was gonna find out that y'all was broke and in debt and about to get kicked out? That's your reason for killing somebody, taking her life? What's the worst case scenario that can happen? She get mad as fuck and go off on you and leave you? So instead of that happening, you would rather kill her? And you never know, man. You would have been up front with her and just gone told her what was going on. She probably would have stuck with you, thick and thin, man. She probably be like, well, baby, okay, we gonna make it work. We gonna make it happen. Like, this is the most ridiculous reason to fucking kill that lady, man. Fuck Nick, man. I'm so glad he got life in prison, y'all. Like, for real, man. And I'm so glad for Rachel, too, that she caught on to that shit before goddamn, because ain't no telling what was next. He probably gonna get her next, do the same thing or something like it. And I want to say too, I hate the fact that it took goddamn, he was still free for 13 years after killing Heidi until he finally got caught. Justice was finally served, but I just hate the fact that it took that long for it to be served, man. Especially with the police, man. I feel like that shit turned to a cold case too fast. Like, bro, y'all could have been delved into this shit and found out extra shit about what was going on and shit. And last thing, I don't think a third, like I was saying earlier, but I was kind of still wondering about it. I don't think a third intruder, like a third person, an intruder was actually involved at all. I think this what happened. Heidi was at home by herself, or she thought she was. He was acting like he was breaking in the house so she can call 911. And while she was on the phone with 911, because she didn't know who it was. She just thinking somebody breaking in the house. She think her husband gone, wherever he gone, and somebody breaking in the house. She think it's a real stranger, a real intruder. So while she on the phone with 911, he broke on off in that bitch. Nick, the husband, broke off in that bitch. And as soon as he seen her, she seen him, he just shot her. Boom, 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 whatever. You know what I'm saying? Well, it was that 2 shots. Well, it was 1 shot for real. He shot her 1 time, then he shot himself in the leg. You know what I'm saying? But I believe Heidi really died thinking that was an intruder. And the whole time it was Nick acting like an intruder. Fucking crazy, man. Good ass video from Mike, y'all. That's why we love to come back to Mike, man. Because Mike does an amazing, exquisite job telling these stories, man. I hope y'all come on back, my brothers and sisters. Hope y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and do all that right there. And best believe I will be back tomorrow. But until I see y'all again, my friends, you know I got to say this. Love, peace, and happiness. Stay safe. Don't stop. Keep going. Yeah.